welcome everybody once again for this workshop on personal branding for educators for their career growth. And today we have with us Jay Bagri, who is an education institution marketer. He has done exponential job with the for growth for education institutions, not just related to admissions, but building a brand. And he also focus on personal branding for individuals. That's why we have introduced this workshop on personal branding for educators. And trust me, it is going to help you a lot in your career growth. And I want you all to take down pen on paper to understand what is going to be useful for you. We are also going to give you a workbook to understand yourself how you can build a brand, what components or what kind of content you should post and on what platforms. If you understand all these things, you will be able to build a personal brand just within a month. It's that simple. So let's begin this workshop. I welcome all of you. Over to you, Jay.
Thank you so much for the kind words, Said, and thank you everyone for taking time out to join. It says a lot when at 6 p.m. in the evening, when you can be doing so many other things, you've come here. So let's try and get intelligently involved in each other's life and make sure that after this 1.5 hours, we are all motivated to become personal brands by ourselves so that we can not only help our own career growth but of other people around us, because that's what brands do. They just elevate everything around them. They elevate the entire room, they elevate the entire atmosphere. So without taking a lot more time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and awaken everyone. Syed has already shared a couple of polls, got people commenting and all of that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a small line and I'm going to ask you a question, and very quickly whatever comes to your mind, just go ahead and answer in the Q&A section, right? So how many letter F do you see in this line? Just the letter F, the number of times you see the letter F. Can you just post it very quickly in the comment section? How many F's are there in this line? Said, if you can read out a few answers.
Yeah, so you just change the slide so people are reading. So we are getting the answer 6, 5, 4, 5, 16, 3, 6, 3.
Right.
Amazing. Very good
Yep.
participation by all the participants.
Great, great. So the actual answer is 6. A few of you got that right. That's great. A lot of people had threes, some had fours. So the average, I would say, will be closer to 3, because what you usually miss out is the word off, OF, right? And I'll let this line be there on the screen. There's no magic here. But if I would have told you that how many letter F's are there in this sentence, and make sure you don't forget the 2 letter words, the chances are more people would have answered closer to 6 than closer to 3, right? So that's what today's session is going to be all about. I'm going to give you tactical, actionable steps so that it's not us talking about, personal branding and all of that as just philosophical, intangible things, but things that you can do right after we finish this workshop. Boom, 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 and actually see growth and actually see improvement, right? So we are going to look at a lot of tactical steps today, right? So now I would want to ask everyone, how many people know him? Who is this guy? Are we seeing some answers popping in?
Yeah, Boat CEO, Shark Tank,
Right, right.
Gupta, founder of Boat.
Right. Great. Great. So a lot of people kind of know this guy, huh?
Some people say, I don't know. No, we have some no's. We have some yes, but not the name. People know him from Shark Tank. So
Right.
some people know, some people don't.
Okay. So some people know him, some don't. So he's the CEO of Boat, which is a consumer wearable electronic company, and he's very popular because he's also a host on Shark Tank now, one of the sharks. So everyone's going to him for business advice and all of that. Great. So some people know him, some people don't. Now I'm changing the slide. How many people know this guy? So yeah,
So
how many people know this guy?
anyone, any guesses? Keshav
It's
Nagar.
absolutely fine if you don't know, because I don't think many would know him.
Keshav Nagar, we got one answer from Govind.
Oh, that's not correct.
Okay, there are other no idea.
All right. So I'll tell you what. This guy is Samir Mehta, the other co-founder of Boat, right? Equally rich, equally big, exactly the same as Aman. While most of you or many of you knew Aman Gupta, the CEO of Boat, because of his appearance in Shark Tank, because he's become such a big personality online. Uh, People had a fair bit of idea, even if they hadn't seen Shark Tank, they had seen Aman out. But his co-founder, who's actually exactly the same, right? 50% co-founder of a 3,000 crore company, nobody seems to know. And that is the difference between a personal brand and someone who hasn't built his personal brand, right? So since a lot of us today are teachers, I want to give an example of, imagine if there are two teachers, both equally good, two English teachers, both equally good at what they do. How does a school choose which one to hire, right? uh, it, Considering that all parameters are equal, they are not then going to see who's going to charge lesser. And that's what happens. It gets into that rat race of who will work for lesser, rather than anything else. But if you have a personal brand, you get something more to the board, right? Just in case of Aman Gupta, he's known. So if I gave you these two guys and their resumes and everything was the same, still many would have chosen Aman Gupta because you already know about that guy, right? And that's what personal branding actually is. And that's the amount of impact it can have. Okay. So what actually is a brand, right? Let's talk about that. Syed, if you can just let me know if the slide has changed, because I think there's some delay.
So slide is not changed yet.
Okay. Right. So while we wait for the slide to come up, basically, what I want to talk about is what is a brand, right? What describes a brand? Now, brand is something not tangible, right? It's something that is in your heart and mind. If I ask you to put a value on a name, you cannot put that. To give an example, Patanjali, right? One day Ramdev Baba came and said, have noodles. And the entire country was having noodles that he made, thinking that they were healthy. Now, how could he do that? Because 20 years it took him to build that personality, build that brand around his name, where everyone knew that everything that is there to be associated with fitness, with a good lifestyle, is associated with Ramdev Baba. He's been doing yoga for years. He's been talking about all of these activities for years. So he had built a brand and a persona around himself. And then when he launched Patanjali and launched all the products of Patanjali, right? We all as consumers believed that yes, his products are better than the competitors, right? So it was an easy decision to make. You buy Patanjali product because you know they are going to be healthier. Because Ramdev Baba has built that brand around himself and has endorsed his products. So now today we believe that everything coming out of that is healthy. Whereas, Ramdev Baba's ghee can be the exactly same thing as another company's ghee, and they can be doing the same process, just that the labels are different. But you would still go ahead and buy Patanjali because you think that it's easier decision to make, lesser evil, right? Things have changed now, but that was the power of that brand then. You of course have to live it up with action, but uh, 20 years of doing that exercise, 20 years of being out in public helped him do that. And when we do talk about personal branding, there is a lot of misconception today, right? That it's to be on LinkedIn, it's to be on Facebook, it's to be on Instagram, your online presence and all of that. No, it's not just that. Your brand image is you as a person, offline or online, right? And if you don't make a brand image for yourself, other people will. So to give an example, you know, we all have that distant relative in our family who, whenever they come to stay, or even if they come in our house for 1 hour, when they go, there will be a fight in the house, because this relative will make sure that, I'll talk about this person, that person, I'll say this to that person, and all of that. And we know that when this relative comes, boss, fight to hona hai ghar pe. Either mother-in-law will be angry, I will be angry, or my husband will be angry, or the kids will start fighting, or something will happen, right? Now, even before she comes, if she's planning to come on Saturday, everyone in the house is already ready कि ये आएगी auntie, gossip करेगी, and she will irritate the shit out of us, right? That is the brand image that has been created. That's the brand image, right? Whenever she comes, her brand image follows. And in this case, she has worked hard on her skills of gossiping, but maybe she hasn't portrayed that enough. But the world has made this image. So next time you want कि एक और फैमिली के घर में फाइट हो, so you will say, auntie, you go here, you go there, stay there for a week. I'm sure if you go there, fight will happen only. That's what brand image is. If we don't create it ourselves, people will create it for us. So today, if we've done nothing, our brand image needs to be worked upon. So everyone in this workshop today, sitting today, attending it, so we are all planning and trying to work on our brand image. And brand identity is where we want to reach. So after this 1.5 hours of workshop today, and then of course it would depend if you follow it through tomorrow morning, because after the workshop you'll definitely be motivated to build a brand for yourself. But when you wake up tomorrow morning, will you have that same motivation? That I can't guarantee. But if you do, then you will be able to build your brand identity, a brand image that you dictate, that you make, and people will follow, right? So I have changed the slide. It might not have changed for you, but this is the point where I'd ask you to open up the workbook that was shared with everyone. If you have it next to you, if you don't have it, then what you do is just take a pen and paper, right? And think of 3 words that you want to be remembered by. When you die, you want these 3 words to describe you, right? Now, these 3 words could be anything. They could be professional, they could be a quality, characteristic, it could be anything, right? Uh, yeah, it's going to take time. So I do not expect you to write it down right now and stick with it. But for the sake of the workshop, and because we are constrained with time, what I'll do is, I'll give you some examples. Like, let me say, for myself, I want to be remembered by, as a marketing guru, as sincere and passionate, right? These are the 3 words I want people to use when they are talking about me after, when I die, right? So I'll write these down, and you write them down too. And these could be any words, right? That is either it describes you or you want it to describe you, right? Could be trustworthy, hardworking, anything.
Jay, we have people commenting their 3 words that they want to be remembered by. Parul has said lively, helpful, hardworking, and
Right.
also Bhavna has said my aura, my decision-taking quality, my overall
Right.
disciplined personality, and Kiran has also said kindness, generosity, and even helpful. We also have
Super.
character, hardworking by Divya as well.
Right.
So
Right. So yeah, so that's great. So write these down, just 3 words for yourself, okay? And scribble it on the paper right now. I will definitely suggest after the workshop is over, you again go back and filter these 3 words out. Really sit with it, because it should take you about 30 minutes, 40 minutes to really pen down 3 words that will describe your entire life, professional, personal, beyond, right? And Then we like to call something as KISS, which is keep it simple and stupid, right? So we want to dumb it down now. We want to make it so simple that anyone can understand, and anyone can understand it in like 5 seconds, right? So if today I tell you to describe yourself to me in one line, most people will not be able to do it. If you have half an hour, if you have like 1.5 hours like me, of course, you can talk and say a lot about, and then Syed can give a 10-minute introduction about who Jay Bagri is, and then Jay Bagri can give a 5-minute introduction about who he is. But in real life, what happens is we meet people, uh, they rarely have that much time to give to everybody they meet, right? So you have about 5 seconds. So you want to keep it simple, right? And you want to have that one go to line that you can go and just describe yourself. So I've changed this slide also. So this is what we were talking about, of keeping it simple and having like 5 seconds, right? On your worksheet, you will find this brand statement, right? Now, I want you to think of the 3 words that you have written down, that you might have written down. If you haven't written down, that's absolutely fine, right? What you want to do is you want to put those 3 words, choose one of the words that fits into the statement that describes you. So I want to be known for dash, so that I can deliver dash to dash. So the last one is, of course, your target audience. The second dash is the service that you want to provide, and the first one is the quality. So in my case, I had thought of 3 words, which was marketing guru, passionate, and I think sincere. Other people had said hardworking, kind, right? So I want to be known for being kind, so that I can deliver the service that, so that I can deliver the best educational experience to all my students, right? So that's how you form your brand statement, and this statement in under 5 seconds can explain to each and every person that you meet, online or offline, who you truly are, right? So if supposing it was for me, I would have said I want to be known for being a marketing guru, so that I can deliver exceptional admission and enrollment strategies to the education sector, right? So my target audience is education sector. I want to deliver exceptional marketing branding strategies, and that's how I would be known as, that's how I would be known as a marketing guru, right? So that's how you'll form this brand statement. And whenever someone meets me and asks, Jay, what do you do? uh, right? So I can tell them, I'm a marketing guru. I deliver exceptional marketing strategies to educational institutions, right? So I just mold this statement, drill it in my head, and always blurt it out, right? And that becomes my brand statement to explain anyone and everyone who I am, what I do, right? Okay. So why is it so important to do this exercise? Why do we think of 3 words that describe us? Why do we work on this brand statement? Wasn't this all about just posting on LinkedIn and being more active there, right? uh, so it's a little more than that. Today, if you want to build a personal brand, your conversations are not going to be limited to LinkedIn. To give an example, the first time I met Syed was because of a comment that he had made on one of my LinkedIn posts, I think a couple of, maybe 6 months back. And then I was in Delhi and we met in an expo, right? There we met face to face. We spoke, we sat for about half an hour, had a cup of coffee, went back, have spoken after that couple of times over the phone, right? So you'll see that your online life, your offline life keeps interchanging, and the conversations that you have online, you will also be having offline, and the people that you meet online, you will be meeting offline. The people you meet every day in your school are also seeing you and following you on your LinkedIn, right? So it completely interchanges. So what your brand statement is, who you are, needs to be authentic. If you are not practicing what you're saying online, offline, people are going to call bullshit very fast, right? uh, the other thing is that we are trying to create a perceived value. To give an example, let's look at Ford versus Ferrari. So last year Ford sold about 54 lakh cars, whereas Ferrari sold 10,000 cars. Now Ford made about 8% per car, Ferrari made 50% per car. And in advertisement, Ford spent about $3.6 billion last year, whereas Ferrari only spent about $0.8 billion. And we can also, why keep it at Ford versus Ferrari? You can also take it as Android versus, Apple. So what has Apple or Ferrari actually done? They have created a perceived value for their product. Is Apple's iPhone the best phone out there in the market? No. But when you buy an iPhone, it's not the technology that matters. What matters is the feeling. Because people see you that say, oh, you have an iPhone, array, kya baat hai? That's pretty awesome. That same feeling is not generated by Android. So that is one. Second, it's very difficult to exist in the Ford space. A few people can exist there, but that is a place where you are fighting for price every day. So you are going to reduce your price, then Ford is going to reduce their price, then you are going to reduce their price, but then there's going to come a point beyond which you can't further reduce the price, right? So it's an extremely competitive space. Same thing with for teachers, same thing for educators around or anybody. Uh, today, as iOS Ignite's founder, I go and pitch iOS Ignite services to so many principals and management people of universities, of edtech companies, of schools, right? And they say that there are 10,000 other social media companies that come to us, and this person has said 20,000 rupees. You are saying 50,000. So I can say, okay, this person has said 20. I'll do it for 19. And then that person will come and say, I'll do it for 18. Right. And then I'll say, okay, yaar, I can't go beyond that. I won't be able to feed my stomach. I won't be able to pay salaries. I can't do that. Okay, fine. And somewhere I will win, somewhere that other person will win. But what are we doing actually? We are just competing on price. Whereas the other thing is you compete on your perceived value, right? Where people want to work with you. I have 10,000 followers on LinkedIn. People will come, they will see that, and I'll say that, I have done this for myself. I can do that for you. And that is why you should be hiring me, because I understand this space, right? I've created that perceived value. So as let's go back to that English teacher example, where considering there are two teachers who are absolutely equal. One has 10,000 followers on LinkedIn, the other doesn't. Which one do you think the school will choose? How will you portray yourself when you have 10,000 LinkedIn followers? You're just going to go there and say that, yes, I'm an English teacher, but beyond that, I have this massive cult following on LinkedIn. Lot of parents, lot of other educators all follow me. So today, when I become a part of your institution, I will be talking about your institution on my LinkedIn, and because of which, lot more people will get attracted towards this school or college, right? So that's what I bring to the table. So let's not discuss the salary. Let's discuss the benefit that I'm going to give you. And that's the perceived value. And that's what we are trying to create, right? With our online presence, offline presence. Okay. So now I'll just wait for this slide to pop up because you need to see it. But on your worksheet, we are at the brand identity model space, right? So I think it's still not popped up. Yeah, it is now. Okay. So now we are at the brand identity model space, where go back to the three words that you had thought of that described you. Choose that one word that is the most important out of these three words. Okay. And that is your brand essence. That is who you really are. Right. So, let actually let me make this a slightly simpler. Think about pani puri. Everyone must have had pani puri, right? The core essence of a pani puri is the papdi. That is what it is. That's the base, and that's the main part. but the flavor comes from the aloo, the chutneys that are there, the dahi that is going to be there on, and that's the core identity. Those are these small elements that add to the papdi, because if you just eat the papdi, it's bland. But when you add all of these elements, then flavor starts coming in. And then comes your extended identity. Now, this is like putting that little bit of bhujia on top, maybe a few pieces of anar, and then when you take that pani puri in your mouth, oh, psh, that just burst of flavor. That is what you want to become, right? You want to think of this entire Maslow's triangle as that pani puri example. So brand essence, what is your core brand essence, that one thing that defines you? So again, going in by my example, that would be the marketing expert, right? Then what are these multiple beliefs that add personality to my marketing? Because there are so many people doing marketing. That could be, I'm very very passionate about what I do. When I talk, that passion comes across. I'm very sincere. If I tell you I'll do this, I'll do that. If I tell you I can't, I can't, right? And that becomes my identity. More words can come in here, right? Think of 4 5 words that'll form your core identity. And of course, this needs to be authentic. Keep in mind, you cannot just uh, think that I'll write these words, all of these words are very flowery and I like these adjectives. You will have to live it day in day out. This is who you are, this is who you become, right? And then your extended identity comes. So these other elements that make you more human, right? Till now, brand essence, core identity, I spoke about all these serious adjectives. But extended identity is, I love jazz music, I love sports, I also like sharing memes on sharing these funny memes or WhatsApps of intellectual things or whatever. And that's my extended identity, and that completes me as a person, right? So I have my core, my papdi. I have my core identity, which is the aloo, little bit of dahi, the chutneys, and then I have my extended identity, the bhujia, the little bit of pyaj, and all of that, right? And that's what makes me flavorful, right? So we have discussed papdi chart as an example, but let's discuss something more realistic. Let's talk about Tesla in the same sort of a pyramid. So let's wait for the next slide to pop up. Right. So, what is Tesla's brand essence? Tesla, the car company's brand essence is that they are fast forwarding the future. Right. When everyone thought electric vehicles are 10 years in the future, Tesla made it, took it out in the market, and said, "Boom, electric vehicles are now." Right. So that's their brand essence. What is their core identity? Apart from that, they also are in the luxury space. They talk a lot about innovation. Elon Musk himself is an identity for Tesla, because of whom the brand is so big today. And they talk a lot about the climate and being carbon free in the future, right? So those are those elements that make it whole, right? And finally, what's the extended identity? So they have cutting edge factories, Musk's own character, which is very very snappy. It's all about speed, getting it done now, that hustle culture, and that's what completes the company. So today, I don't know how many of you know this, but Tesla is valued more than all other car companies combined. So Tesla cars is valued more than all other companies combined, all other car companies combined. Why? Is that's because Tesla has always positioned themselves as a tech company. So they say, look at us like Apple, look at us like Google. They never go ahead and say that we are like Mercedes or we are like Ferrari, right? So that's the perception that has formed around the company, and the stock prices tells you how important perception is. That today Tesla being valued more than all other car companies combined. Are their sales bigger than all other car companies combined? Nowhere close. But yet they are. So that's what your brand perception can do. So now what you're going to do on your workbook is you're going to write down your own brand essence, your core identity, and your extended identity. And this is going to all come from the 3 words that you initially wrote down. Okay. Now we are going to move on ahead to role models. You know, they always say that have one role model in your mind, right? That I want to be like this person, I want to be like that person, but that doesn't fly. That's not authentic. It's not possible, right? So if your role model is Virat Kohli, you don't want to keep telling yourself that in this situation, what would Virat Kohli do? You know, Virat Kohli will probably abuse, but you being a school teacher, you can't do that, right? So you can have different role models for different, uh, you know, uh, spaces, right? You can have a role model for relationships. Is there that one person that is really, really great at keeping relationships? That one friend that, you know, will always call up, will never forget your birthdays and all of that. And that person is your role model only for that. That person might have other weaknesses, but you're not looking at that, but only for that thing. You know, for leadership, is it your principal or your management or an ex principal that you worked with or someone else that you admire? You know, do you admire their work ethics and the way they are always on time, and their leadership skills and how they can rally people around, right? Write these down so that you can double down on following and learning only that aspect from that one person, right? And in the worksheet, what I've done is I have leadership, relationship, drive as the three spaces to put in role models. But your own aspirational characters that you can think of that you would want to learn from and grow, write it down over there. Then you start following their activities, you start meeting them and talking to them about these particular topics more, so that you can learn and grow further from it. And this all is really important so that you yourself can build, you know, a more wholesome personal brand. And always remember that great marketing for a poor product will kill the product faster. So when I say that, you also have to understand that the brand is not a superficial thing. It's not just the clothes that you will wear, but the person inside. So you are the product here. And if you do all, you know, false advertisement about yourself and you are not living that life and you're not living that truth, then all you will do is kill yourself faster, right? Rather than helping your career grow. Okay. So now we move on to who am I? That is a question that you want to answer. I'm sure this is getting a little philosophical, but this is something that you want to answer. That who you are, what are your positives, what are your negatives, you know, list it down. Really think about it. Don't lie to yourself. You don't have to share this document with anyone, right? This document is for you to learn, you to grow, you to understand from. So truthfully tell yourself what are, you can list down way more than three positives, three negatives. List down as many as you want, but focus on two or three positives, focus on two or three negatives, right? When I say positives, say, you know, one of your positives is internal communications, the way you send and keep, you know, the way you communicate internally in the school with your colleagues. Let's say that's a positive for you. Or leadership, that's a positive for you, right? So what you want to do is, how can I supercharge this positive and use it for myself? So don't say that, you know, I'm not going to say things like I am going to be a better leader from now on. Well, that doesn't mean anything. You're not, you know, it's not actionable. So today's workshop is all about action, taking action, right? uh, Being on the point. So we're not going to say that. If supposing people think that, you know, leadership is one of my positives, then what I can, I start something like a weekly mailer on five things that help me be a better leader, or five things I learned about leadership or about internal communications, right? And can I send it out to all my colleagues, my department, maybe my extended department, and even my boss and super boss, right? You can always send a note saying that, hey, so and so, to your principal, I, you know, I'm going to start a monthly emailer on leadership, or I'm going to start a monthly email on internal communications, and you don't have to reply to it. It's just something that it, you know, I found helpful, and a lot of other people find helpful. So I want to start doing this, right? And every month, keep it on your calendar that you send out this emailer to your extended colleagues and your extended department, even your bosses, where you say 5 things about internal communications, 5 things that you do that has helped you in your internal communications, and dwell down more on that topic, right? So you want to have some actionable goals on your positives as to how will you help enhance them. Okay, so on WhatsApp or on your notes, keep noting down whatever comes to your mind that you would want to put on that emailer. It could be great articles that about internal communications that you would want to share, and things like that, right? But what will happen is people also will start seeing that positive more. Imagine your boss getting that email, your principal getting that email, where 10 other teachers are not sending anything. So it shows intent, it shows initiative. Also, you yourself will grow because writing those emails will make you do a lot of research. So your positives will improve. Now, come to the negatives, right? So, of course, you might have written down a lot of negatives, but again, focus on 2 or 3 that you really want to work on, that you want to fix. Figure out who the role model could be. Say one of the negatives is that you're always late, or you're not very prompt with deadlines. Maybe it's a negative, right? Not maybe, it's definitely a negative, but maybe that's your negative. You're not prompt with deadlines. So who's that one person that you're very fond of, uh, who's always good at being on time or making sure that their submissions are on time and things like that? Follow them on social media, set aside a time with them, just talk to them, double down on it, see what you can learn from them and how you can implement it in your life, right? And it's not just about following them, you can even follow their blogs, other articles that are on that negative. So you can actually work on a couple of those negatives, right? So list down these positives and negatives, take the top 2 or 3 and start working on it, right? This is module 2. You'll find this on module 2, the positive and negative, right? uh, Later on, you can in fact even make a Google Doc or a Google form and send it out to, say, 5, 7, 10 of your very close friends and colleagues, right? And ask them to tell you what your positives and negatives are, and take this from that. So initially do it yourself, but every year you would want to go, rewind back and do this exercise to see how you are growing year to year, right? Now this is going to be one of the tougher parts of the workbook, I would say. Sorry. uh, this is one of the tougher parts of the workbook, and this is listing down hurdles. Okay, now what are these hurdles? Differentiation: what is different about you? Are you relevant currently in the market? And whatever your solution is that sustainable? Okay, so relevance is the easiest. Most of you are teachers, some of you are principals. Currently the entire sector is, there's a dearth of teachers. We all need good teachers. So there is definite relevance of what you do. All right, so that's what you're going to write there. Differentiation: how are you different? What is that one personality quirk, or what is that one thing that you can differentiate you from any other teacher? So you'll have to think of it long and hard, right? What are those couple of qualities that you can probably tie up together and create that differentiation? So how many of you know Khan sir, right? He's very popular on YouTube, gives or coaching for competitive exams and all of that, right? So if you haven't heard of him, definitely go on YouTube, type in Khan sir, see his videos. He today has more than 2 crore followers, right? In less than 2.5 3 years. And his differentiator is his wit. So there are so many people. I think there are over a lakh of people teaching on YouTube the same courses that he teaches, right? But still he has about 2 crore followers. Is because he has included his wit as his differentiator, and when he teaches, he makes it fun. He's very casual about the way he teaches. He has the subject matter expertise, and he also has his wit, has his humor, He's combined that, and that became his differentiator. And today, in less than 2 years, he has 2 crore followers. There might be many teachers who have way more subject matter expertise than him, but they don't have a differentiator. So really think hard. You will have to work on this as to what your differentiator is, right? And finally, is it sustainable? Supposing you say my differentiator is doing a podcast, and I will do one podcast every day. You will you be able to do that? How much time can you give personal branding? Right? It's very difficult. You're already doing, you're teaching full time, which is a 40-50 hour a week job. And then after that, how much time can you dedicate to your personal brand? You'll have to be very mindful of that. So whether is it sustainable? An email a month, very sustainable. In a month you are giving, say, 2 hours, extremely sustainable. A podcast a day, quite impossible, right? So whatever your differentiator is and whatever you are trying to do, you'll always have to look at sustainability, so that you can continue doing it for a longer period of time. And a brand is not built overnight. It is going to be a marathon. So you have to be sure that you can do it over and over again, and without hampering your actual work. Okay, so this is how you would think about your differentiation, right? Think of completely two unrelated skills. And why two unrelated skills is because if you think of two skills which are very close to each other, say, if I say my one skill is social media marketing, and the other skill is search engine marketing, right? Both to do with online, both in that same space. Then whenever someone looks at Jay, he will always say that Jay ka to whatever digital ka koi kaam ho to usko de do. That's what he knows, right? His limitation is that. So that's why you don't want two skills which are very related to each other. You want to take two completely unrelated skills. Do I like photography and I am good in English? Do I like math and I am very very fond of cricket? Right? How can you combine these two skills to make yourself, to create that differentiation? Right? Everything in math, can I include cricket in it? Everything in cricket, can I include math in it? Right? So that's how you start thinking of differentiation. Relevance, we've spoken about this. So teachers, of course, are very very relevant, not only now but even in the coming decade. But things are changing, the environment is changing, so we will always need to keep that in mind. So that is where sustainability comes in. So one part of sustainability is whether whatever you are planning to do, can you do it and can you sustain it? And the other part of sustainability is the way things are changing today, are you adapting to it? Right? So 2 years back, online education became a normal thing. Because of COVID, everyone had to do. So teachers who could adapt to it are doing better today. The ones that could not adapt to it are either at that same place or doing worse. Right? Now, more things are going to keep changing. The world around us continuously evolves, right? I don't know how many people know about this, but chat GPT is like the big word. So students today can actually go to chat GPT, open source ai.com or whatever, right? And type in the topic of the essay and take out a complete essay which will pass plagiarism. And there's no way you will be able to check for plagiarism and all of that. um, will chat gpt change a lot of things? Yes, because the ai has actually gotten that well, good. But will it replace good teachers? Will it replace good educators? No. It will have an impact, but the educators, the teachers, the admission counselors who are evolving with time will be able to sustain that impact and in fact come out as winners. Okay. So we have discussed a lot about, building your personal brand. We discussed the 3 words. We discussed the brand statement. We discussed building your brand essence, figuring out what your core is, what your extras are, and all of that. Right. So till this point, do you have any questions? anything that particularly you found difficult to understand. What I'll do is at the end of the meeting, I'll share my LinkedIn ID also. You can always leave a personal message when you are filling up your your worksheet, and I'll help you out if you get stuck. But at this point, do you have any questions, Syed? If there are any questions or anything that have popped up, you can let me know.
Yeah. So, all the attendees, all the teachers who are with us, you can also write the questions in the comment. And while you are writing the questions, so far, we will do a poll to understand how much time can you dedicate in a week for your personal brand. As Jay talked a lot about, like you have to create either podcast or either email or post on LinkedIn. So all these activities that you are going to decide for you need, how much time can you dedicate for that. So let's see, you can just vote your answers here, whether it's 2 hours a week, 2 to 5 hours a week, or 5 to 10 hours a week, depending on the quality and the amount of content that you want to create. Because if it's podcast, it will be content plus editing plus distribution. But in an
Right.
email, you have your mind, you have the idea, you have the knowledge, you just write it down in an hour and you shoot the email. So even about LinkedIn post, you get the idea, you write it down now. Even you can schedule your post on LinkedIn as well. You don't have to worry कि मुझे उस time पे जाके post करना है, but you can just schedule it for the whole week. You don't have to worry about that. So we are getting good amount of votes also.
Can you name the person? Okay, so that was Khan sir, Khan sir, and he does UPSC exams and all of that. So I love his videos. They are very fun. I'm not planning to give
Yeah,
any competitive exam, but so many times I go and see his videos just because the way he talks is fun. It's like while having dinner so many times, instead of watching Netflix, I just watch his videos. You learn something also at the end of the day,
yeah.
and it's always a good laugh.
Yeah. Well, there are other influential teachers. If you talk about Alak Pandey,
Absolutely.
physics wala, I met him yesterday as well.
Right.
He shared his story in an event. So that was very amazing. And
Right.
these teachers, see, what I believe, what I have even observed, that your degree or your qualification or your position in the school doesn't make you a teacher, but your students make you a teacher. Their acknowledgement, their acceptance make you a good teacher. Majority of the people have posted 2 hours a week, that they can
Right.
dedicate 2 hours a week for their content and for their personal branding. And about 32% people have said 2 to 5 hours a week. So a lot of
Right.
people have participated in this poll. That's
Great.
amazing.
That's perfect. So yeah, it's very important to know how much you can, and it's very genuine. About 2 to 3 hours is what a teacher can actually dedicate to personal branding. So towards the latter part of the discussion, I will also share as to how you would want to split that time up in terms of creating content and all of that. So Syed, whenever my screen pops up, let me know. I've already shared it.
While branding, how can we stand out of box to
Right.
create ambience? That's the question, Jay, for you.
So while branding, how can we?
While branding, how can we stand out of box? How can we do something different from other creators to build a
Right.
brand for ourselves?
Right. So yeah, so I think the first part was exactly about that. So when you start filling this worksheet, right, one is that you will be able to create that differentiator by being authentic, right? You don't it's not like tomorrow you can wear a clown costume and come and start talking. That's also a differentiator, but that might not be you. So when you start filling this document up, you will start realizing what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and who you actually are. A lot of us, till the time we don't put it on pen and paper, we don't really know what are our own values, what is our own ethos, what is our own vision statement, mission statement in life, right? So you want to write all of that down. And then, as I said, work on your differentiator. Everyone has it. What are those two different qualities that you can combine together? Your subject matter expertise and that X element, which can be wit, which can be humor, which can be your love for cooking, which can be your love for cricket. It could be anything, which could be maybe your love for stamps. I don't know. But when you combine those two, very few people would have done that. Okay. So wit and subject matter expertise, that's what Khan sir is doing. But apart from that, what he's also doing is his flavor is very UP, very Bihar. He speaks in Hindi, very fun, laid back language, right? That is what he brought to the table, and students loved it. And not just students from UP or Bihar, students from across the country love it. So your differentiator is what you want to work on. Your differentiator, you will be able to think of it when you start filling this sheet, and that's how you'll create something out of the box. That's how that will be your differentiator, right? So Shweta, really good question. That's a great question that you asked. And I think yeah, and it's not going to be that easy. When you start filling this sheet, it's going to take you time. So this week's 2 hours will just go and filling the sheet up only, right? So maybe next week we'll start posting and doing all of that. Okay, great. So now we've spoken about all of this, but now I want to take a break and first focus on, just supercharging everyone's LinkedIn account, because it's really, really important. If there is anything that I want you guys to take from tonight, is that having an LinkedIn account, active LinkedIn account, is just the absolute bare minimum. You need to do this. It's like eating, right? And how do you do that? So let's share some quick tips, tricks that you need to do to get your LinkedIn supercharged. And any and every time someone in your region looks for say you are an English teacher and looks for an English teacher, your name pops up on LinkedIn. Okay, so this will be a quick 5-minute SEO masterclass on just gaining LinkedIn's algorithm. Okay, so we'll start off first, very basic, very simple profile picture. If you don't have a professionally shot profile picture, take any phone camera that has portrait mode. If you don't have a phone camera with portrait mode, your children might have, or anyone in school might have, and just take a picture in front of a nice background, full smile, no smirks, right? It's called micro expressions. Smirks are something that people just hate, so like half smiles, or something like that. I don't know if you can see my face properly, but as soon as you show that half smile, people dislike it. Why? You can go ahead on Wikipedia and read, but full smiling picture, no sunglasses. What is power posing? So there is a great TED talk by Amy Cuddy on YouTube. You can go and hear that on power posing. So how your shoulder needs to be, how you need to stand, and all of that. So hear that before posing for your picture. Squinching, so when you have a real smile, real big smile like that, your eyes are going to squinch a little, so it should show. And don't edit the picture or over edit the picture. A little bit is okay, but the more you edit, the more unrealistic it looks, the lesser people would want to talk to you, and you don't come across as a human. So that's the trick of clicking that perfect picture. And this not just on LinkedIn, it should be on all your professional profiles, right? Don't put that picture up from one trip that you took with your family, and it's just you eating an ice cream or something like that. Okay, the second thing, so let's wait for this slide to come up. This is an important slide. So profile picture we are done with. The second thing is word cloud. Okay, word cloud. So go on Google, type in free word cloud. Okay, and what you also do is, whatever designation you have or designation you want to have in the future, go and type that on Indeed, on LinkedIn, on Monster, on Naukri, on Edjobster, everywhere, right? And get 5 descriptions of that job. Okay, so supposing again, let's say that you are applying for a head of department of English, right? And that's your designation, next designation that you're going for. Look for head of department in English jobs across the world, or at least in India, on all of these platforms, and see what the description says. copy 5 of these descriptions from 5 different jobs and put it all together on free word cloud. What free word cloud will do is build these letters up for you, build these words up for you in big, small, right, and put it out there. And these words that come in big, if the descriptions that you've chosen are accurate to your work profile, those will become your keywords. Those are the keywords that people type in usually to search. So this is what it'll look like when the result comes out of word cloud. Let the slide change.
So until Jay is just coming back from this glitch that he had. So how many of you, is there any question that you have? You can write down in the comment section, and we will take that up. And also, if you want to speak up, you can also raise your hand, and we will do that. And see, I hope that all of you are having your pen and notepad with you. Either you are filling up the workbook along with it, or if not, you are just writing it down because it's important. And if you are seriously if you seriously want to build your personal brand to for your career growth, is just Jay just told you like how why it is important, because technology is coming in. And if students just keep learning from machines, well, teachers won't be replaced, but only the great teachers who entertain and who are liked by students are going to survive and can be influential in this world. So welcome back, Jay. I think the
Yeah.
problem is fixed.
Yeah, let's hope so. Everything's working fine. Let me just share my screen also again. Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. So yeah, so can't avoid the technical glitches no matter who you are. These things keep happening. Right. So we were talking about word cloud. When you take these descriptions up, put it on word cloud. Actually, I'm sorry, Syed, were you saying something when I logged in? I just kind of jumped into this.
I was just asking everybody to be serious about personal branding and keep note of everything what we are learning here, and also implement it in life, so you can be a personal brand and not be left behind in the race of this fast running world.
Right, right. I guess everyone's here. Everyone's still sticking around after an hour, even though I'm boring them with a lot of material. That means that they are serious about personal branding. So I'm really hopeful that all of you will follow this up. Right. Great, great, cool. So yeah, when you do put up these descriptions on Word Cloud, what's gonna happen is Word Cloud is gonna throw you something like this, where it's going to show you all your keywords, big and small. So the bigger ones are the keywords that you want to work on. Of course, make sure that they are related to your field, and they're not just coming up. So things like data, tools, director, some off words can come up, MBA, right? But that's not the point. The point is to figure out, take 5 big keywords from here: communication, sales, marketing. So this is my word cloud, right? I just took some admission counselor, director of admission job profiles from online, put it up on word cloud, and this is what it threw out. So the more accurate job descriptions that you take, the better word cloud result will be. And the bigger ones are what you want to take 5 keywords out of these, write it down, okay, and then go on to your LinkedIn profile, and you will find okay, so let the slide change. Yeah, so go on to your LinkedIn profile and you will find that there's space for a headline. So take one out of those 5 keywords, make sure that you insert it in the headline, right? In the about section, make sure that all those 5 keywords find a place. So frame a sentence such that everything finds a place in your profile section. So you have your job description and all of that, previous jobs. How can you insert these keywords to explain your previous experience, current experience, right? So this gives you a very good, easy way to figure out how to make your personalized LinkedIn profile so powerful that anytime someone is looking for someone like you in your region, you will definitely pop up. Okay, so that's what you do with your profile section. Endorsements. So LinkedIn allows endorsements, but what it also allows you to do is choose which 3 or 4 endorsements that come on top. Right, it'll let you choose that. So make sure that the skills that are coming right up on top are something related to those keywords, or exactly those keywords on top. Fine. Apart from that, the 2 other things you can do is make sure you go on LinkedIn. In your settings and privacy area, you can change your URL. So instead of it being some gibberish, it'll be linkedin.com/in/Jay Bagri. You can go ahead and do that. If your name is very common, it'll be Jay Bagri 50, Jay Bagri 60, or something like that. And finally, you want to put up, once you've made this great LinkedIn profile, you want to put it in your email signature if your school allows that. Usually LinkedIn people allow, if but you might need some permissions. If you are allowed to do that, definitely go ahead and put it on your email signature. So good example of this is even Apple does it. Right, whenever you send a mail out of Apple, uh, right in the bottom it will be written, mail sent from Apple, or even in Android, sent from Android, or sent from so and so phone. So if they do it, you definitely should do it, and it'll help your whole brand. Now what you can also do, now this is actually helpful. So the slide hasn't changed, but if you are active, so that 35% of people that had commented that they post more than a week, more than once a week on LinkedIn, for those people, go on Google and type in LinkedIn SSI, right? That is Social Selling Index, LinkedIn Social Selling Index. So LinkedIn has this great free tool, okay, that tells you how your profile is doing and how you are interacting on LinkedIn with others, right? And how likely are you to be found in your industry. So if you see, this is mine. If you see on the top, the two rankings that are there, top 2%, top 5%, they are not important. Let's forget about them. But the other four on your right that you see, now these are something that you can definitely work on. The first one is establish your professional brand. So this deals with how much are you posting about your subject, how many people are engaging with it, is it relevant, and LinkedIn gives you a score based on that. The second is find the right people. So in my case, what happens is I do accept invites from pretty much everyone, and strike conversations with people outside the education sector also, and that's a reason for the very very low score. But this tells you how relevant is your connections, how relevant are they. So in my case, only probably 6.88 is my score out of 25. So a lot of people are from outside the education sector. They might outside the education and outside the marketing sector. So that's something that now I need to work on, right? Third is engage with insights. So how many times do you go on LinkedIn and engage with other thought leaders and on others posts? So it gives you a ranking for that. And final is building relationships. So once you do get connected to someone on LinkedIn, how often do you reach out to them? When they post something, are you commenting on them? Are you talking to them? Are you messaging them and all of that? And that's called building relationships. So I fairly do well in that, but I really need to work on my find the right people. So if you are posting on LinkedIn since a while and you've been doing this more than once a week, I would say definitely go and look at this. If you haven't started doing this, if you haven't posted, make your LinkedIn profile. From the time you start posting, every 3 months, go ahead and see how your profile is performing. And if you're doing well on one platform, you will take those learnings and take it up to Facebook, take it up to Instagram, and you'll be doing well everywhere, right? The point is to dominate one platform first. Okay. Right. So I took this time out of our initial discussion of how you are going to build your brand and what are the things that are needed to build your brand, and kind of sneaked in LinkedIn in between, because LinkedIn is very important, and I didn't want to rush through the LinkedIn slides. We only right now, while we are building that personal brand, remember that again, we are building it both for online and for offline. So figure out what your quality queue is. Okay. What are those things that define you and you are known for. uh, if you've had the pleasure of opening a new iPhone box, when you kind of open it, right, there's a vacuum and there's a pop sound which it makes when you just take that lid off. And now you would think that's just something to do with packaging, but actually Apple spends a lot of money for that to happen. They have an entire big lab set up to make sure that that happens in each of their packaging, and what's the science behind it and all of that. Why do they do that? Because that's their quality cue. When you open up that package, you just feel like you're opening up something precious, bigger than, better than diamond, right? So what is your quality cue? Is it, super quality email signatures, that is, if you're allowed to do that, or maybe it's your memorable introduction or closures. So uh, so many times when we meet people and someone says that, we just end a conversation with bye or hello, nice to meet you. Or, these very very straightforward small uh, greetings that are there, right? How do you think, or why do you think people would remember you? If supposing, take my example, I meet a lot of principals, managements, as I said earlier, right? And they meet hundreds of other people the same day that they meet me. So how would they remember me at the end of the day? Can I have this great opening line or great closing line that is memorized, right? So I usually go with, uh, have a fantastic, I hope this is the best Wednesday that you have, or I hope, today is the most fruitful learning day for you, right? And that's my sign off, right? So people will remember that because it's not just by thank you, right? So that could be maybe your line. Or is it that, you have a very infectious smile and you're a very big greeter, right? Every time you meet someone, you have this big smile on your face and you say hi, it's so lovely to meet you, and that becomes your quality cue because it's your personality, right? uh, and quality cues can also be visual cues. It could be things like you are known for the pens that you carry, you just have a great collection of pens, or you're known for wearing this crisp sari in school, right? And everyone knows you because you're immaculately dressed. That's your quality cue. But have something, or it's the place, your desk, right, is just the most beautiful desk to be around because it's very neatly kept, everything is in place and all of that. So figure out what your quality cue is. The whole thing is that you want to differentiate in these small ways, small actions, because these details are what differentiates you from the crowd. And this is how people will remember you. So when you take these quality cues online, your offline audience will know that yes, this is authentic. This is not something that, this person is creating for LinkedIn, but this is what they are, or who they are, right? From quality queue, now we are going to come to the toughest part of this worksheet, which is going to probably take you a lot of time. I think the maximum amount of time is going to be taken in this, right? So Mark Twain once said that, sorry, I wrote you a long letter because I did not have the time to write you a short letter. And that's so true, because writing a small line and expressing yourself in few words is way tougher than, expressing yourself in a paragraph or a sentence, in a paragraph or even more, right? So now again, I would want you to go back to the three words that you had taken to describe you, right? Go back to that and build three messages that you can go to, right? Three sentences. These are full sentences, so not trustworthy, not hardworking, right? These are full sentences. Maybe a sentence about innovation, maybe a sentence about, I am always learning, or I always continuously keep upskilling and attending workshops because we need to upskill to stay, above the curve. Whatever these three sentences are, if you will see CEOs of Fortune 100 companies that have been trained, they will always try and end their conversations with the same three or four lines that define them. And that's what you want to now come up with. So you have your words, you have your brand essence. Now you come up with these three messages. And every conversation you have, every important conversation you have, you ended up with one of these three messages. It can be ending up with message 1, message 3, message 2, doesn't matter, the order doesn't matter, but you're ending it up with these messages that define you. And remember, these three messages need to be independent of each other, right? They do not need to be interrelated. They have to be independent so that they can stand in audience separately. Make sure that they are simple so that everyone can understand, right? And there are no jargons in it. So as soon as you start saying jargons, people forget about it. They don't want to listen to it, even if they are from the same industry. Nobody wants to hear all of that. So keep it absolutely simple. It's just an extension of the three words that you created, and make sure that you are focusing on your audience's benefit. So in this case, it might be your students, might be your school, right? Whoever your audience is, on their benefit, right? That's how you'll craft this message. Right. So now we've done all of this exercise and we've decided now we want to go online. So before we go online, we need to figure out what our medium is, right? What are we really good at? Are we good at writing? Are we good at clicking pictures? Are we very friendly with the camera and being on videos? Or are we good at talking behind the scenes on podcasts? Or do I like personal conversations? Do I like public speaking? Do I like making great PowerPoint presentations, right? So you want to figure out what your one or two skills are, because that's what's going to determine which platform are you going to dominate. You cannot dominate all the platforms, right? You cannot be the best on Instagram and the best on YouTube and the best on LinkedIn. It's not possible. So figure out what your medium is going to be, right? Once you figured that out, then we will decide which platforms we are going to dominate. Okay. So now what I'm going to tell you is, let this slide change. I've changed it on my screen. Yeah. So it's popped up. Okay. I'm going to give each one of you 1500 rupees. Now this 1500 rupees you can use to buy any of these platforms, but only the platform that you buy, you are going to work upon, right? So if supposing you buy Facebook, that means that you can post on Facebook, right? But that doesn't mean that the same thing you're going to go post on LinkedIn, right? So you have 1500 rupees to buy. Decide what you're going to buy out of this. 2, 3, 4, 5. You might want to buy all the 100 rupee ones and then all the 200 rupee ones, or you might want to dominate Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn, wherever, right? Once you've decided what you're going to buy, now you'll want to figure out with your medium that you had decided. So supposing your strength was writing uh, long form content, okay, for that LinkedIn is a great platform. Or you had decided my strength is clicking photographs, okay, then Instagram is your platform. Now you might say that, okay, I'm a Hindi teacher, what do I do with Instagram? Where do I go with it? So what you want to do with this is take your love for clicking pictures, start clicking pictures in the school, in the neighborhood that you are, maybe of your students. Of course, for that you'll need permission from their parents, but then yeah, you start clicking these pictures, then match it to something from the textbook, Hindi textbooks, or with a quote, or with a phrase, or with a poem which is very popular in Hindi. Match them together and post it on Instagram, and you become this person that takes real life pictures, links it to literature, Hindi literature, Sahitya, right? And that becomes your differentiator, and that will build your audience, and the world will have something new, right? Not something generic that Jay can also create, Syed can also create, you can also create. This is something that requires expertise on two very different fields, which only you have, right? Or if you decide on podcasts and that your skill is again as a Hindi teacher, you of course are a subject matter expert. Your podcast could be on Hindi Sahitya, deciphering these old stories, understanding Munshi Premchand's life story, or a story that he wrote, and what are the niceness is in that. And you've just taken these two different skills, put them together, created something great, right? So that's how you're going to decide on your medium and where you are going to be online. Where are you living online? and invest in them. And finally, we will come to the audience. So while, if you guys have attended marketing classes or spoken to marketing people, audience is generally what they put up first. That figure out who your audience are, then say what they want to listen. No, you do not do that when you're building a personal brand, because people will see through bullshit. Your personal brand needs to be authentic, it needs to be you. So you figure out what you want to say and all of that, then you come to your audience, and what you want to do is fill this sheet up. So on the workbook, what I've done is I've given a link to the sheet so that you can fill it up by yourself. Just download it, it's a present PowerPoint slide. You'll be able to fill it up. What are your audience's interests? What are their hobbies? What sports they like, where do they live? So then what you can do is, in your own way, right? Supposing you are again on Instagram, you're a Hindi teacher, you like clicking pictures and clicking it with Sahitya. Your audience likes cricket. Can you click a picture of students playing cricket, link it to a great prose from some book, right? That's how you form the connect, so that you're still authentic, but you're also relevant to your audience. Okay, so this all might get a little overwhelming, but go step by step on the worksheet. It'll be very simple for you to then understand and go from one slide to the other, and the whole flow will come. And once you've done this exercise, when you actually start dominating any of the platforms, you will realize that it will start coming to you a lot more naturally. You will not have to build content for months and months to start posting. It'll come as a second habit, because all we have done is taken your true self and shown it to you and asked you to share it with the world, right? That is what personal branding is. It's personality. And once your personality is out there in the audience, then you are more than just a Hindi teacher, more than just a principal, more than just a admission counselor, more than just Jay Bagri, right? You are this force of nature that has so many different qualities, that so many people want to be like, and that so many people follow, right? That's the power of personal branding. So what have we discussed today? Just for a quick recap, and then we'll open it up for Q and A's. I think I have 2 minutes. So the three words that define you, then take those three words, build your brand statement, right? From that brand statement, we decided and we built our brand identity, the core, the pani puri, the aloo, the bhujia, right? Figure out who your role models are for each different aspirations. List down your positives and your negatives. How can you take actionable steps to improve your positives? How can you follow people and double down on learning from them to improve your few negatives, right? Then we learned about LinkedIn. How do you power your profile, your SSI. Finally, the three hurdles: what's your differentiator, relevance, sustainability, and what your message strategy is going to be like. So, the three messages that you continuously keep going to. Then, the medium that you choose. So, which platform are you going to be on based on your strengths, and who your audience are, and what do they like and dislike, right? So, that's all the things that we discussed. It's quite heavy. I would want you to keep coming back to these slides, keep going back to that worksheet and building on it. And if you do that, I am 100% sure that you will be able to master your personal brand and do it effortlessly and manage it within 2 hours a week, right? You don't have to spend hours and hours for this. So with that, thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this session, you guys learned something from this, and you will be able to build personal brands for yourself moving on from here. And have a fantastic evening, and I'm sure that you guys will have a great Friday and then a mind-blowing weekend, because we are just a day away, right? So thank you so much, Syed. Over to you. Let's open it up for some Q and A's.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jay, for giving this workshop for all the educators. And I hope that everyone learned a lot. We will even share the presentation with you, and we will also upload this recording online so for you for a future reference, but it won't be any useful if you are not taking action and if you are not implementing what you learn, if you are not going to LinkedIn or whichever platform you think is right for you to build a personal brand, then it won't be of any use for you. What I think, Jay, is, and all of you, I want to tell you that your personal brand is not branding. We see like hilarious, useless ads. Now that's the what brands do. But personal branding is something that you already are. You don't have to do something extraordinary. Whatever you are, whatever you do, whatever you know, you just have to put it down on the digital media. And for that, it's very simple, and you are an artist of it. You know yourself better. You just have to put it down on the digital media and you can build your personal brand easily. Well, thank you so much, Jay, for taking this workshop. And I didn't know a few things. Well, I also do the personal branding thing, but I also learned a few things in this workshop as well. Well, we have a lot of teachers here, and I think the questions are also coming in. If you have question, you can write it down in the comment section. Also, we have shared Jay Bagri's LinkedIn profile and my LinkedIn profile as well. You can connect with us on LinkedIn as well. We have one question here, Jay. Just let me see. How to be a good communicator as there are so much competition every second, from Bhavna.
Right. So see, as I said, list down your positives and negatives, and not everyone's positive is to talk in front of camera, right? Not everyone's positive can be being a great dancer, right? So some things, of course, you can spend more time on learning these skills. There are a lot of uh, short classes, there are a lot of workshops that you can take to improve your the not only the way you talk, but the way you dress, the way you sit, all of this, right? So it can all be done, but uh, figure out what your positives are. Maybe your positive is not talking in front of the camera, but it might be talking behind the scenes in personal conversations, and then you might be great for podcasts. Or maybe your skill is not even that, and then it's about writing or identifying great articles or doing research, right? So you want to double down on that. It's not always about just one. While we all think that talking on camera, that's the best skill to have and that's how you can build personal brands, that's not true, right? Some of these great influencers have built their personal brand without ever releasing a video, without ever being in front of the camera. So what they do is they share their writings, they share their art, they share their pictures, right? And they get popular through that. So figure out what your strengths are, and of course, continuously upskill. So if your negatives are there, as I said, if one of your negatives is public speak, then what are the classes you can take, what are the upskilling sessions you can take? If you like someone on social media, how can just follow them, continuously follow them, see how they are talking, what you can learn from them, and then go ahead and start recording videos. You don't have to post it, just record, show it to 5 friends, right? And friends will always laugh, and they will always be the worst critics, right? So but the thing is that when you do show improvement, they will also be the first ones to tell you, now this is worth putting up, right? So you don't always have to go ahead and straight away put it up. You can do that jump, take that jump, if you want to. But if you don't want to, at the same time, keep recording, keep talking, and it only gets better. And I think Syed will also tell you that when he must have started his journey, it would have taken him a lot more time to finish his podcast, finish his webinars, and all of that. Now it's like a second skin, because becomes easier and easier. And probably after a year, if you just wake him up from his sleep, he'll be able to do a couple of webinars, right? So it becomes easier. Just have to keep practicing like anything else.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jay. So we have
Very close to that message symbol. So a lot of people might be
Mr. Arun
pressing it.
also has a question here in the comment section. He has said how to decide that how much is enough for certain conversion.
How much is enough for a certain conversion?
Yeah.
I don't think I understand this question properly. Conversion as in Sayed,
I
did you get the
think that's
question?
conversation, I guess, to start a conversation.
Then yeah, conversation. How do you decide how much is enough for a certain conversation? That would totally depend on, who you are conversing with. The more important the person, the smaller your conversation should be, and the more to the point it should be, right? And uh, if the person is a friend, then there's no limit to the conversation. Till the time the food is there on the table, continue talking, I would say. But yeah, the more important someone is, uh, the lesser, get to the point faster, don't waste their time, and make sure you leave an impact in that 5 seconds. So that's where your brand statement really comes into play.
Amazing. Well, we don't have any more questions now, and to get you what to start you with how you can start personal branding, I would say that it's very important to take action. And to take action, there are two kind of people who just think that they will do it and they just keep thinking they don't take any action. And there are other people who might have just posted on their social media or somewhere that they just attended this workshop. So the first step, if you want to start building a personal brand, you can start it with just sharing about this workshop, that you attended this workshop. We can just take you can take a screenshot of this screen, you can share it on social media, so it will be even better for you. You can
Yeah,
add
taking a
tag.
screenshot.
Yeah, you can take a screenshot of it as well, right? But it's very important for, if you think that you are still reluctant, that how would you do it, whether you will be able to make it or not, whether people will follow you, whether people will connect with your content or not, then you need to understand that you should have a growth mindset. And that's why I'm coming to this topic, because the next workshop that we have for our educators is on growth mindset for teachers and students as well. So it's very important to have a growth mindset. And if I just differentiate between growth mindset and fixed mindset in a simple way, is that if you are a fixed mindset person, you will think that only Jay can do it because he has talent, or only Hamid can do it because he has talent, he has done it. But the fact is, we didn't had any talent of personal branding. We didn't had any talent of anything. We just did it. We were consistent with it, and with time, we are here with you, just sitting in front of you, talking about personal brand. In the same way, if there is a growth mindset person, he thinks that talent is not something that you get by birth, but your hard work, your dedication gets you success. So for every teacher, even to make a student successful, you need to understand the power of growth mindset. Well, there is a book by Carol Dweck on growth mindset, where she's a scientist, where she differentiate and also share the stories of different successful people in sports and different areas, how they were successful and what kind of mindset they had at different stages. So that helps in understanding what mindset does a person should have. And you will also identify that what mindset you have and what mindset you should develop, because it is very important for every teacher. Honestly, it's very important for every teacher to have a growth mindset. So for that, we have our next workshop on growth mindset for teachers, which is on 1st of February. And I will also be sharing the link with you to register for the event. You can go to our website and you can register for the event. Also, as this event will also end, we will you will be redirected to our landing page where you can also register. Now, I will just start another poll, because I want to know if you found this workshop very useful, if you found this workshop useful in a way that you can now build a personal brand. Then I want you to give a rating to how much you found this useful. So, well, that's amazing that 42% people, around 24 people have voted. And thank you so much for the 4-star and 5-star to all the people. And see, what I would like to tell you, that we are doing these workshops to empower teachers, and it will be really, and we will keep on doing this. And if you have any feedback for us, you can write to us at edjobster.com. I'll just write it here on edjobster at gmail.com. You can write to us your feedback, your comment. You will also receive an email after this session is over about and also ask you for a feedback. So that will be really helpful for us. And if you want us to take a workshop on certain topic that you think of, you can also tell me that. I will get an expert on that, and we will definitely do that. I think I wrote the email ID in the wrong way. Yeah. So Jay, are you there?
I am. I think my
No problem, no problem. So we still have 57 people in this workshop, in this session right now, and want all of you to appreciate Jay Bagri for taking this session. Just write in your wonderful comments in the comment section how you feel, how useful you found this session, and it will be really helpful and appreciating for Jay to take this further. So you just left, Jay. I asked people to comment in the comment section about their experience and appreciate your workshop, how you took this today, and how it will be
so
really helpful for.
you only told them to appreciate. If they had any bad comments, they were not allowed to. Uh,
I've asked them to send me the mail personally.
okay, all right, right.
Yeah, so
Thank
that's
you so much, everybody. Thank you, and I'm glad that everyone
yes,
found this
yes.
useful. I am really looking forward to a lot of you people actually building your personal brands and having more followers than both of us do. And yeah, reach out to us on LinkedIn, connect with both of us, and when you're filling up that worksheet, if you need any help, just drop in a message.
Amazing, amazing. So Bhavna is saying it's a new platform for us to explore as having our own brand, is having our own creativity and new ideas. Thanks for this mind food. Indeed, it is.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you so much, everyone, for your wonderful comments and appreciation. We look forward to you for in further workshops as well on growth mindset. I'm sending the link once again for the workshop on growth mindset. You can connect with us on LinkedIn as well. I will share the links of the our LinkedIn profiles in the WhatsApp group as well, and keep connected in the WhatsApp group to get updated with all the next sessions that we are going to do. Do you want to say any closing remarks, Jay, to all the 54 people that are with us until the end?
No, just that have a great Thursday evening. And I am sure tomorrow is going to be the most fantastic day that you've ever had.
Amazing. All right. Thank you so much, Jay. And I'm really grateful that you are here. And thank you everyone for being with us until the end. You about 70 people were there who stayed until the end of the workshop, and until this time we have 55 people. Thank you so much everyone who joined us on this platform, also on YouTube as well. We'll just now end this session. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.